On this episode of O'Fallon Matters, find out how local patriots honored a fallen soldier, get an update on major road projects throughout the city, and meet a high school football star who is catching passes while leading his team to victory. All this and more next on O'Fallon Matters. Welcome to this episode of O'Fallon Matters. Our first story features a group of citizens who are striving to ensure that buildings can be accessed by virtually anyone, regardless of their level of ability. Let's find out more.
St. Charles County continues to grow at a fast pace, and with this growth comes a need for quality housing for all. Now, there is a group of dedicated community partners that have made it their mission to identify barriers and promote solutions to meet the multiple housing needs in the county.
Well, the St. Charles County Housing Team really grew organically from some meetings that were happening earlier last year. We wanted to address the issues facing housing in St. Charles County, so we figured, why not the St. Charles County Housing Team?
The St. Charles County Housing Team is made up of devoted volunteer organizations from the community. Organizations like NECAC, the Delta Center, Restore St. Charles, and the City of O'Fallon are all part of the team. It's
really an open council, so anyone that has an interest in addressing the housing needs in St. Charles County, from either an affordability standpoint, a workforce standpoint, or from a universal design aspect, is welcome to attend.
One of the goals of the St. Charles County Housing Team is to educate the community on quality universal design housing, along with protocols for modification of existing housing based on universal design practices.
Universal design is about the functional use of space and products and how those are employed.
Universal design is really aging in place, so that you build things that as we grow older, we don't have to move. Wider hallways, wider doors, levered door handles, anything that as we grow older we need.
Universal design principles also include no step or 0-degree entries, open floor plans without stairs, wall outlets at variable heights, and other innovative principles. In fact, Melissa and Nathan Franklin of St. Charles County were the recipients of a universally designed home.
So a little over 4 years ago, Nathan was in an accident, giving him a traumatic brain injury, which has left him in a wheelchair. So we were living in a couple accessible apartments, which we found out weren't very accessible.
The Franklins reached out to Habitat for Humanity for help, and help came in the form of a new universally designed home that met Nathan's needs.
First of all, I would say the best function is having a kitchen that Nathan actually can access. Before, he couldn't even get into our kitchen, so it's really opened up his independence a lot. He's able to make us food. I put him to work. He can do the dishes. It actually allows him to stay home by himself for me to go back to work.
And for Reva Horowitz of O'Fallon, her universally designed apartment helps her stay independent well into her 90s.
Well, the architecture, the way the setup of the kitchen, living room, bedroom, bathroom. Bathroom is terrific. I could put a cot in there. It's so big.
The St. Charles County Housing Team will continue to educate the community on universal design principles and other housing issues in St. Charles County with the goal of adoption now and into the future.
If we could reach the private developers and get them to understand these are not really expensive things. We're talking just redesigning, from an architectural standpoint, the blueprint.
So we want to educate people that this isn't major things. These are simple things that we can do in homes when we build them and apartments when we build them.
It's really hard to think about if we didn't have this house. Nathan's progressed in ways being here already that he wouldn't if we weren't here.
Want to find out more information on Universal Design Housing? Go ahead and visit universaldesign.com.
An organization recently took part in a tribute motorcycle ride to honor fallen heroes, including one of O'Fallon's own. Let's head over to the Veterans Memorial Walk for an homage to O'Fallon resident Mark Blakey.
O'Fallon resident Mark Blakey seemed destined for a life in the military. Born at the same minute Operation Desert Storm began, Mark grew up hearing stories of his uncle and grandfather's service and dreamed of joining the Army once he was old enough to enlist. And in 2009, his dream became reality, and Mark was sworn in as a member of the United States Army. He even received his first official salute from the grandfather whose service had so inspired Mark as a child. At 6 foot 3 inches and 250 pounds, Mark made his presence known wherever he went, and he had an outsized personality to match. Those who trained with him at basic or served with him in Iraq knew him as a man with an infectious personality and a ready smile for everyone he met. But Mark's service was tragically cut short. While serving our country, he passed away on February 23, 2013. And while nothing can dampen the tremendous pain our entire community feels when we lose one of our own, one organization took it upon themselves to honor Mark during a 3,000-mile tribute ride.
We're here today, the Soldiers Memorial Torch Ride that rides all the way from Oregon to Arlington National Cemetery is going to honor my son, Army Specialist Mark Blakey. I'm really overwhelmed with the emotions and just the support that I've had in O'Fallon and just the whole community has stepped up. The Patriot Guard riders, the police department. Some of the riders from the American Legion have rode all the way to Columbia with my son's picture on their windshield, and they're going to ride back. So I'm actually overwhelmed with emotion.
The 17-day tribute to fallen soldiers motorcycle ride took these dedicated riders through a dozen states on their way to honoring 53 servicemen and women, and we were proud to welcome them to the Veterans Memorial Walk. For Mark's mother, Cindy, this was actually the second time we've recognized Mark Blakey's service, as she was selected to lay the ceremonial wreath during our Memorial Day service in 2015. In O'Fallon, we understand the importance of honoring the sacrifice the members of our armed forces make on our behalf.
It's what O'Fallon does. O'Fallon supports our veterans, supports our community, and we're out here for the Blakey family. And it's just what O'Fallon does. That's part of what O'Fallon means is, to help those who need help.
During the ceremony, speakers recounted Mark's achievements. While serving his country, Mark earned the National Defense Service Medal, the Meritorious Unit Citation, the Army Achievement Medal, and many more. But it was the impact he had on the men and women he served with that was perhaps his most important accomplishment.
Mark's dedication to the guys on his left and right was unwavering and didn't go without matched loyalty. Wherever you saw him, he was always wearing his famous smile. Not a day went by that he didn't smile. Mark was always a great friend, son, and patriot. May we never forget the service and sacrifice of Army Specialist Mark Blakey, who was just 22 years old at the time of his passing.
One of the most touching moments of the ceremony came when the riders presented Cindy Blakey with a memorial photo she had never seen before, bearing Mark's trademark smile.
This is Mark.
They also presented Cindy with a plaque honoring the distinguished service of her son.
With this plaque, it is our solemn promise to never forget your fallen soldier and what he has given in the name of honor, duty, and freedom.
And as the ceremony came to a close, there were more than a few people in the audience, riders included, dabbing at tears in the corners of their eyes.
Ceremony, I had tears in my eyes, especially when they gave pictures, plaques of Mark to Cindy, and Cindy had no idea it was coming, and just the look on her face was priceless.
We don't wear sunglasses to keep the sun out. We wear sunglasses to keep the tears from showing. It affects all of us. We need to honor every one of these fine individuals and their families. Their families sacrificed immensely, and no family should have to go through this, but they did. So it's an honor to just be here for them. We're going to be doing another one later, and it's just for us an honor and a privilege to be here.
After O'Fallon, the riders hit the road on their way to honoring the next service member. Their final stop came at Arlington National Cemetery, where they honored each of the fallen heroes one more time, laying out an item representing each of the 53 service members. Then they extinguished the memorial flame, concluding their ride. Cindy was there with them at Arlington for the closing ceremony, proudly honoring not just Mark, but all of the men and women our armed forces had lost.
Just remember that all the fallen heroes are being honored with this. We need to remember about all our fallen heroes, because it's about him today, but it's about all of them tomorrow.
While the ceremony might be over, the memory of our community coming together to celebrate the life and service of Mark Blakey will last forever. And now, Cindy has a new piece of Mark to cherish forever.
This department serves a vital function in city government. Here's an inside look at the City of O'Fallon's Administrative Services Division.
Did you know that the City of O'Fallon employs over 300 employees? In fact, O'Fallon is one of the largest employers in St. Charles County. Police protection, parks and recreation, clean water, sanitary sewers, trash collection, street construction, and road maintenance are just some of the services provided by the City of O'Fallon. Administrative Services is comprised of 4 different divisions who support their fellow employees in a variety of ways.
You have Human Resources, which starts with assisting other departments in hiring and interviewing and bringing in new employees, getting them on board, coordinating them with their benefits such as medical and dental insurance. Volunteer Services is similar in that they provide volunteers at no cost to the city, which then assists other departments to do things they otherwise couldn't do. Volunteer Services is an integral part of the Heritage and Freedom Fest, which we probably couldn't do without all the help of the volunteers that we get just on that day and throughout the year. We have Facilities Maintenance, which is charged with the responsibility of maintenance of most of the city buildings, City Hall, the Police Department. They'll have the new Justice Center, and they also do some building maintenance in some of the buildings within the parks. And then last but not least is Fleet Maintenance, which is involved with keeping all our rolling stock from police cars to dump trucks to any type of vehicle that the city has that rolls on tires or tracks.
It takes cooperation and teamwork to make the city run, and Administrative Services functions as a model team within the city.
I'm fortunate in Administrative Services is that I have 4 very good managers that are all very good at what they do, and they're lucky and fortunate enough that they have employees that work for them that also make their lives easier, and everybody's goal is to provide a service to let other employees be able to do their jobs. The best way to get information on either to be a volunteer or to become an employee of the city is probably go to the city's website, and you'll see where you can click on volunteer services and find out what volunteer opportunities are out there. And you can also go to career opportunities to see what positions we have open at the city at any given time.
As the seasons change, we're finishing up infrastructure projects that'll make your daily commute much smoother. Let's check in with our project management team to find out what's wrapping up this year.
It's been said that better streets make for better cities. And here in O'Fallon, we pride ourselves on holding our city roads to a high standard. With over 700 lane miles within our borders, maintaining and improving our streets is one of our city's biggest projects each year. But this investment in our infrastructure pays back dividends, as our healthy thoroughfares keep our traffic moving and strengthen our economy at the same time. And as the work season comes to a close, here's a quick look at the projects that are now finishing up, starting with our 2017 concrete repair program.
Right now we are actually starting to wrap up the repairs that we've been doing this summer. completed ahead of schedule. Right now we are finishing the last of the pavement repairs. We are fixing a lot of ramps from sidewalks to streets, making that transition and making those ADA compliant. We have some crack sealing left to do. We have some general cleanup, street sweeping, that type of work. But generally we're starting to wrap things up and get this one buttoned up and move on to the 2018 season.
In 2017, our concrete program handled slabs in Fieldstone Farms, Foxhaven, Copperfield, Waterbury Falls, and many more sites throughout the city. But it isn't the only project our crews are currently working on. Another project well underway is the Lake St. Louis Boulevard project, which will add new features to this thoroughfare while moving traffic even more efficiently.
The Lake St. Louis Boulevard project, currently what's been completed out there is a signal that's been installed at the intersection of Lake St. Louis Boulevard and Route N. That signal became functional last week, so currently we're still working on some timing aspects with that, so we're kind of getting it honed in to maximize the traffic flow through that intersection. Along with that, at the same time that was opened up, the Curtis Lane path that everybody mostly had been using to access Route N from the south side, Curtis Lane has been permanently closed, and the contractor is currently removing that existing pavement. Now, at the same time, he's also working on the roundabout that we'll be installing at what will be the future intersection of Lake St. Louis Boulevard Extension and Paul Renaud Boulevard.
We're also busy with the design work for a number of new improvements. Early next year, keep an eye on our city projects by heading to o'fallon.mo.us/projects. Once there, you can learn more about our plans for Summers Road and Highway DD, Bramblett Road improvements, Hoff Road reconstruction, and more. And remember, when you see our crews out in our city streets, slow down and give them some space. And in return, they'll keep working to make your daily commute that much easier.
Next in O'Fallon Matters, the O'Fallon Chamber of Commerce and Industries was recently chosen for a prestigious national award.
The O'Fallon Chamber of Commerce and Industries was named Chamber of the Year. The Chamber of the Year Award, presented by the Association of Chamber of Commerce Executives, is the nation's only award recognizing the leadership role chambers have in their communities. Those honored with the Chamber of the Year designation have demonstrated organizational strength and made an impact on key community priorities such as education, transportation, business development, and quality of life.
Association of Chamber of Commerce Executives is a nationwide and Canada organization that chamber execs and directors belong to. They're kind of the clearinghouse of ideas, best practices for not only chamber programs, but human resources, budgets. They do all of our benchmarking as an industry, so that's what we benchmark ourselves against. So the Chamber of the Year Award is something that they give out each year. They give out in five different categories. So there's a state chamber, a major metro, and then there's 3 local chamber categories. We were category 1 for Chamber of Commerce of the Year, and they never really say what that's based on. They look at who their applicants are, who's made it to the final criteria, and it's based upon population size, service area, and then total membership numbers as well as budget.
Receiving this prestigious award could not have been possible if not for all the hard work and dedication from all parties involved with the O'Fallon Chamber of Commerce and Industries.
Everybody is so enthusiastic and dedicated to our mission. So it really is just seeing that tangible reward. So we can see that we're doing things, we're making progress, and our businesses are succeeding, and we're doing the right things, and they're growing, which is really what it's all about, is helping our businesses grow. But to get honored as an organization, it really shows that we're doing the right things. Participation rate with our community is phenomenal, and that's not just our members. That's the city of O'Fallon, who's a great partner of ours, and the county we have great partnerships with, and really bringing all of that to fruition to make some great things happen.
If you would like to become a member of the O'Fallon Chamber of Commerce and Industries, give them a call at 636-240-1818. For more information, visit them online at o'fallonchamber.org.
Fort Zumwalt West football is having another great season, and they're being led by an outstanding captain who excels in leadership and scoring. Joe Meyer has more.
Here in the city of O'Fallon, sports fans look forward to Friday nights in the O. That's because student athletes take the field in pursuit of glorious victory. Fort Zumwalt West Jaguars football is known for an outstanding winning program that produces college and even pro talent. In 2017, wide receiver Marquise Majors is ripping up the field with dazzling catches and bruising blocks. This kid's been playing football at a high level ever since he can remember.
It's just been a sport that I fell in love with ever since I started playing. I have an older brother that played football as well, and I've just strived to be, better than him. He's definitely taught me a lot of things, but I just use those things that he's taught me, and I try to be better than him.
He's got tremendous work ethic. He's a kid that really puts in the time in the off season, and during the season he continues to work. He's always out trying to perfect routes. He's a guy in the off season that runs a ton of routes on his own. He's a great competitor. He doesn't like when he feels like he didn't play well or he doesn't run a good route. He wants to win.
Marquise is one of the top receivers in the St. Louis Metro. Check out the stats and you'll see that he's consistently ranked in the top 10 in receiving yards and touchdowns over the past few years. Yes, Marquise can catch just about anything thrown his way, but it's his leadership intangibles that make him so valuable to his teammates.
You gotta let them know that, things aren't gonna go their way all the time. You gotta lead by example a lot too. If you show that you're frustrated, then they're going to feel like they can just show all their emotions too, which I know it's a hard thing to do. There's been a few times where I've gotten caught up in my emotions, but I try my best to, keep them in check.
He's been a captain for us now 2 years in a row. He's been on our leadership council. He's in our leadership class. This year he's really done a good job of becoming a more vocal leader.
After his last catch at Fort Zumwalt West, Marquise looks to continue his football journey by playing college ball.
He's got a really bright future. We think the world of him. He's got about 20 offers out there, so he's going to have a lot of opportunities at the next level to play. And whoever's fortunate enough to get him, they're really getting not just a great football player, but a great young man. Like I said, he's a tremendous worker. He's got a great personality. And on top of that, he's got a lot of ability. So I'm excited for him. I know he's going to have a great future moving forward once he's done with us.
We hope you enjoyed today's show. If you have a good story idea, let us know. You can email us at OFallonTV@OFallon.mo.us. Please remember, give back to your community because O'Fallon matters to all of us.